Hello, everyone. Today, I'll guide you through the answers to the questions in our English 7 presentation in our PISA review. So, I'll explain why each answer was chosen so it's clear and easy to understand. So, let's get started. So, PISA is Program for International Student Assessment, and it is an international assessment that evaluates the knowledge and skills of 15-year-old students, just like you, in reading, mathematics, and in science. So we have here our first item, which is on the grade level 7 topic on sequencing of ideas. So we have here our competency where we are basing our first item, hierarchize or condense information at a local level, which is on identifying the main idea, summarizing, or giving a title. So I have here a reading material wherein you have to also read on your desks. So this will be the reading material that we will be using in the following items that we shall be having. So let's start. Eugene de la Cruz is a young man who is beyond his years. Throughout high school, he studies hard and works his way to always be on top of the class, champions competitions he joins, and holds tutorial classes to make ends meet. So, see Eugene de la Cruz, okay, he is always studying well and he studies hard so that he will be among the students who are always go beyond the average or first did sila siya always, okay, and he also holds mga tutorials tutor siya og mga students po. Due to his lack of a home full of love, warmth, and support early on his life, he has learned to get up and look for the circumstance he wants, and whenever he does not find it, he creates it. He capitalizes on building his strengths as his ultimate gateway to experience rather than dwelling on his weaknesses. Consequently, he has repeatedly proven himself and the world that once a mess of life could be turned into art, a masterpiece of battle scars. So, as to this circumstance that he has, okay, he does not go weakened on any circumstances or any obstacles he faces. So, unsa pa na ang moabot sa iya ha, mga hardships, kay na Japon siya ga-build og more strength, okay, sa iyahang life. So, we have here now our first item. Okay, let's all read. Which of the following is evidence that the author wants the reader to admire Eugene? Okay, so based from our reading material that we have, let's try to answer number one. So is it A, Eugene studies hard and works his way to the top of his class? Or is it B, Eugene holds tutorial classes to make ends meet? Or C, Eugene capitalizes on his strengths rather than dwelling on his weaknesses? Or D, Eugene turns his life's challenges into a masterpiece of battle scars? Okay, I'll be giving you 1 minute to answer this item. Okay, time is up. Okay, so what do you think is the answer for this item? Okay, let's look at the correct answer. Okay, so the answer is Eugene turns his life's challenges into a masterpiece of battle scars. So let's try to rationalize why the letter D is the correct answer for this item. So in letter A, Eugene studies hard and works his way to the top of his class. So this option shows dedication and intelligence, but it doesn't necessarily evoke admiration. So it does not um, work on how would we um, or how would it let us appreciate or admire, okay, Eugene in his studies. So many people study hard to achieve good grades, okay, but the essence there, it does not give us something that we shall admire him. In letter B, Eugene holds tutorial classes to make ends meet. So this demonstrates responsibility and a strong work ethic, but it doesn't necessarily inspire admiration. So many people work part-time jobs to support themselves. Okay, how about for letter C? So Eugene capitalizes on his strengths rather than dwelling on his weaknesses. Okay, this is a positive approach to personal development, but it doesn't explicitly suggest admiration. Okay, so we're actually looking for the sentence or the option there that will suggest admiration. Yung maganahan ta nga, wow, nani day si Eugene, like this, that one. So in letter D, Eugene turns his life challenges into a masterpiece of battle scars. So this statement paints a powerful picture of resilience and overcoming adversity. So it highlights Eugene's ability to transform his struggles into something beautiful, inspiring admiration for his strength and creativity. So just like when we are having actually the speakers, okay, they are actually um, giving us their life challenges, and it then gives us, okay, it then gives us a picture as to how brilliant they are, how creative they are. Okay, they become good examples that we could admire their works. Just in this quotation, masterpiece of battle scars. Okay, now let's move to the second question that we are having here. So we have here, list down how Eugene has overcome the obstacles he faced. Okay, so based from what we have already read in our reading material, what are those obstacles that he faced? Okay, when we say obstacles, those are the challenges. Okay, those are the problems that he has faced. Okay, so I'll be giving you 1 minute again to write on what are the obstacles that he faced. Okay, so do you have now your answers? Okay, so based from the reading material that we have, Eugene solved his problems by working hard, staying strong, and finding ways to succeed even when life was tough. So, what are these challenges that he overcome? Okay, so we have here, okay, that we made a list starting from the top of the piece of paper and then descending down. Okay, so the overcomes are It means that to defeat or succeed in controlling or dealing with something. And when we say obstacles are things that blocks one's way or prevents or hinders progress. Okay, so we already have here the reading material. Okay, so what are those? Okay, the first one we have here, he does not give up no matter how difficult the circumstances are. Okay, so that is one of of the things. Okay, the obstacles he face. Next one, he studies so hard and works his way to always be on top of the class. Okay, that's another obstacle that he had overcome. And then he champions competitions he joins. Okay, and he holds tutorial classes to make ends meet. So these are the four um, things or the obstacles he overcome. Okay, the obstacles he faced, he overcome in his life. Okay, now let's move to um, item number 3. Okay, so which of the following ideas does the text most support? Okay, so we have here a first, if you dream big, you can achieve anything. Option 2, life is full of obstacles, but if you work hard, you can be successful. Third, the circumstances of your birth and upbringing can determine your success. Okay, fourth, Eugene's life is a lesson we can all learn from. And last, Eugene has successfully turned his life into a work of art. So kindly um, analyze, kindly pick which ideas there would the text mostly support. Okay, which do you think in this idea is in our reading material that we have about Eugene? Okay, so I'll be giving you another minute for you to answer this item. Okay, now let's all find out which of these following ideas the text most support. Okay, so the text supports the idea life is full of obstacles, but if you work hard, you can be successful. Okay, regardless of the circumstances you are born within this life, your attitude towards overcoming obstacles may determine your success in life. So, based on the text, Eugene has proven time and again that no matter what or how hard the obstacles are, he has always believed in himself and has worked hard not only to overcome them, but to come out much better and more successful. Okay, so it says here life is full of obstacles, but if you work hard, you can be successful. So based on what we have actually read, okay, see Eugene, okay, he had encountered a lot of obstacles, but then he did not give up. Okay, he works hard. Okay, there were those obstacles he faced, as what we have already listed, but then he works hard to overcome this, and because of that, he becomes successful. And that certain statement is the most or the idea that the text mostly support. Okay, did you get the answer? If you got it correct, then very good. Okay, so that's the end of our item 1. Okay, now let's move to the next item, number 2. So this is still on the topic sequencing of ideas, and it's on competency: scan, search for, locate, and select relevant information in the text. Okay, so we have here our reading material: Eastern Visayan Region's Finest Hosts, an EVRAA 2019. Okay, so I would like you to silently read this one. Kindly distribute the copies to your classmates. So I will be giving you a few minutes to read this one because it's a bit long. So as you go on and read on this one, kindly analyze, kindly comprehend well what is it all about, or the reading material is all about, because we have items that we will be answering, questions that we will be answering later on. Okay, so do you have now your copies? Okay, I will be giving you now 2 minutes to read the reading material. Okay, time's up. Now let's move to the questions regarding this reading material. Okay, number 1. What does Congresswoman Lucy Marie Torres Gomez mean by the term double pressure? Okay, again, what does Congresswoman Lucy Marie Torres Gomez mean by the term double pressure? Okay, is it A, the city is expected to perform well in the sports competition and also host the event successfully? Or B, the city is under pressure to maintain its title as the Evraa champion and to improve its performance? Or is it letter C, the city is pressured to host the event and to maintain its title as the Evraa champion? Or letter D, the city is pressured to meet the expectations of the people and to showcase its potential as a sports hub? Kindly pick your answer. You have now your answers. Yeah, let's try to check. Okay, whether you have the same answer with this one. Okay, let's define first what is double pressure. So double pressure refers to a situation where two sources of pressure exist. Okay, it's not just one pressure but two pressures. So it's now defined as a double pressure. Okay, so let's try to answer what is the double pressure here. Okay, the correct answer is letter C. So the city is pressured to host the event and to maintain its title as the VRA champion. Okay, so that's the answer, letter C. So why why do we say that letter A or the city is expected to perform well in sports competition and also host the event successfully as a wrong answer? Okay. While this is true, it doesn't capture the specific double pressure mentioned, which is hosting the Evraa. Okay, it does have two pressures, but it wasn't mentioned there the hosting of the Evra, which is actually um, mentioned in our readings. While letter B, okay, the city is under pressure to maintain its title as the Evra champion and to improve its performance. Okay, this is also true, but it focuses solely on the competitive aspect, not the hosting aspect. Okay, so we already know that. Okay, in the text, okay, it was stated there that uh, it would tell on the hosting of the Evraa. Okay, but then in here, it's on the competitive aspect yang gina-try o discuss sa tuwa. Okay, then on letter C, okay, this is the only option which accurately captures the dual pressure of hosting the event and defending its title as the champion. This is actually the one that that are the pressures being mentioned in our text. Okay. While on letter D, the city is pressured to meet the expectations of the people and to showcase its potential as sports hub. Okay, this is a general pressure, but it doesn't directly relate to the specific context of hosting Evraa and defending the title. So basically, we say that hosting the Evraa is one of the pressure, and then another one is the defending of their title as the Evraa champion. Okay, so those are the two. Okay, those are the two things that makes it a double pressure for them. Okay, now let's move to item number 2. Okay, so describe why Ormoc City is considered one of the safest place in the Philippines. Okay, so when we say describe, it is to express in words the appearance and nature, attributes, etc. of something. Okay, so describe nimo, okay, imo siyang imo siyang isulti. Isulti ang iyang appearance, ang nature niya, iyang attributes. Kaya unsang imong ma-describe sa iyaha. Now, let's move to the next slide. Okay, so let's have, I mean, let's um, try to describe Ormoc City. Why is it a safe place? So try to think of how would you describe Ormoc City. Okay, I'll be giving you 1 minute, okay, a couple of minutes for you to describe Ormoc City, which is considered as the safest place. Okay, you can now start your description. Okay, maybe you could think of some words that are actually listed or actually found in our text that we have by this. Okay, when you try to express words, try to describe Ormoc City. Well, if you need more time, you can actually pause this video for you to have more times in writing your description of the Ormoc city for this item. Okay, let's move on to our next slide. Okay, so here's the description of Ormoc City, why why it is considered as one of the safest place in the Philippines. So let's all read. Okay, so Ormoc City to this day has held its reputation to be one of the country's safest city. In fact, the city has been formally declared as such twice. Ikaduha na siya na declare in 2017 and 2018 because of its low crime rate. Okay, so low crime rate it means safe siya, wala kayong mga krimen. It's a high police visibility and prompt responses to security emergencies. So if there are certain problems, just like na manawag, then they would immediately respond to these emergencies. It also has relevant infrastructures such as diversion roads, reclamation projects, wide foot and hanging bridges, schools, buildings, covered courts, and evacuation centers needed during calamities. So they have really have a lot of um, projects built for everyone. And in addition, it has received the distinctions of being a CPR ready city, okay, and the first drug free city declared in RO8, a seal of child friendly governance awardee, and a no smoking city. So based from this mga um, evidences, okay, they are considered as the safest place in, or why is it considered as safe place in the Philippines? Okay, if you have the same answers with this one, so good job. Okay, now let's move to, okay, so this is the end of item number 2. Now let's move to item number 3. Okay, the topic is on using one's schema. Okay, the competency is on the identifying the main dimensions of a graph or a table. So in this one, we're going to analyze and interpret what is in, identify what's in a graph or a table. So as you can see here, what do you call this one? Okay, this is a graph. Okay, what kind of graph? This is a bar graph. So is titled as unemployment rate in the Philippines in April 2020 as result of COVID-19. So as you can see, there are certain regions in the Philippines, and in percent of the unemployment rate. So when we say unemployment rate, okay, that is um, um, what you call the walay mga trabaho. Pila ka percent nga walay trabaho sa Philippines. Okay, according to each region. Okay, so you can see there, there's pinakataas. Kinsa ang pinakataas? We have there bar MM, okay, which is 29.8. Okay, followed by Central Luzon, 27.3. Okay, and then car, which is on 25.3%. Okay, and so on and so forth. As you can see in our um, bar graph. Okay, which one has the lowest rate in unemployment? Okay, we have there 11.1 in northern Mindanao. Okay, okay, let's move to the next slide. So the figures in the table are expressed in percentage rate. The unemployment rate rose to 17.6%, accounting for 7.2 million unemployed Filipinos in the labor force in April 2020. So, na mga walay trabaho, daghan kaayo sa April 2020. Okay, accordingly, 7.2 million. So this record high unemployment rate reflects the effects of coronavirus disease in 2019 or the COVID-19. Because of that COVID-19, there's actually a lot of Filipinos who have no no work, okay, and economic shutdown on the Philippine labor market. So the unemployment rate in January 2020 was 5.3%, while in April 2019 it was recorded at 5.1%. So all regions reported double-digit unemployment rates, okay? So by that, we could really say that COVID or the COVID-19 actually greatly affect greatly affect the workforce of the Filipinos during that time. Okay, responding to the difference in the percent. Okay, so let's go back here. Okay, we have our graph. Now, let's try to answer item 1. Okay, which Philippine region has the highest unemployment rate in April 2020? So try to look at our graph and try to identify which one has the highest unemployment rate. Okay, so it actually depends upon which one has the longest, okay, longest bar there in our bar graph. Okay, so you can actually easily identify which one there has the highest unemployment rate. Okay, I'll be giving you 10 seconds for you to choose which one. Okay, let's answer what's the correct answer. Okay, the answer is BARMM. Okay, that is the highest unemployment rate, which is 29.8. Okay, did you get the correct answers? Okay, very good. Now let's move to item number 2. Which regions should the government provide extra assistance in terms of unemployment? So, diha nga region would entail that the government should give extra assistance. Magtabangan pa sa government in regards to their unemployment. Kaya haman diha ang pinaka. Kaya hadapit ang mga regions that the government should provide. Okay, so the answers are okay are those that have high rate, okay, high rate of unemployment ng mga regions. So who are this? Okay, what are these regions? I mean, so we have there our BARMM, Central Luzon, and CAR. Okay, so they have the highest unemployment rate in April 2020. So the government must provide them extra assistance, okay, regarding our unemployment. Okay, now let's move to number 3. Okay, if you were in the Philippine central government, what conclusions would you draw for action required as a result of this graph? Okay, kung ikaw ang nasa central government, what conclusions you can get basing from this result of this graph? Kung sa'yo kay makuha na itong conclusion. Okay, do you have now your conclusions? If you were in the government, what would you have? What would you actually do regarding this one, regarding unemployment? Okay, let's try to check. Okay, so if I were in the government, I would continue to encourage herd immunity and allocate an appropriate budget to support the development of vaccines for all ages in the entire country. Guess what we have read, what we have looked upon this one, diba? It's on the coronavirus. Because of that one, there were a lot of, or there were higher unemployment rates. So that's what we must do if we're in the government, okay, to have the vaccines and allocate appropriate budget to support the development of vaccines, okay, in our entire country. Okay, however, priority should be given to regions with the highest unemployment rates kasi sila man ang medyo daghan o walay trabaho. So this is the most appropriate nga action, okay, to prioritize the health of the citizens and at the same time increase the chances of operation of all work establishments so that the currently unemployed Filipinos will get back to their jobs. Okay. Okay, now let's move to next one. Okay, that's the end of our item 3. Okay, we have the item number 4, which is on the topic scanning information. So our competency is on scanning, search for, allocate, and select relevant information in the text or from some information space. Okay, so we have here our reading material entitled Briones Appeals to Institutionalize Policies for a Smoke-Free Country. This is actually a press release highlights. So I'll be giving you another a couple of minutes for you to read on this one, okay, the reading material, before we're going to have the questions that you are going to answer. You kindly have it now and read silently on this one. Your time starts now. If you need more time for you to read on this reading material, you can actually pause on this video. Okay, if you're done reading, let's move to our questions. Okay, Number one, based on the DepEd press release, what are the reasons why DepEd Secretary Leonor Briones appeals to lawmakers to pass strong and comprehensive tobacco policies in the country? Okay, so kindly answer this one. What are the reasons why DepEd Secretary Leonor Briones? Okay, you can write your answers for this one. Okay, what do you think are the reasons? Ano ka ha? Ano kang nag-appeal siya? Okay, if you need more time for you to answer, you could actually pause this video. Okay, let's answer our question. Okay, the correct answer is DepEd Secretary Leonor Briones appeals for strong and comprehensive tobacco policies because she wants to protect the welfare of the learners, promote a healthy environment to the youth, keep school smoke free, and allow the learners to grow healthy and free from harm of tobacco use. Okay, actually, tobacco is harmful, especially for those who are in the secondhand smokers. So they are actually the ones who would have the drastic effect. Okay, mas mapektuhan sila sa paggamit sa tabako. Nang sigarilyo, we must um, always remember kung katong na yung mga gapan ni garilyo, dapat layo na sila. Kay makaapekto man siya po na siya sa mga diliga tabako or diliga sigarilyo. So why she appeals, okay, for the comprehensive nga tobacco policy. Okay, she wants to protect the welfare kapakanan of the learners. Okay, para na po'y healthy environment. Okay, unsa na lang kung na ay kuan smokers always in the vicinity of the youth, okay, maapektuhan po sad sila aside from having the medical issues or kanang sa ilahang kuan makas na sakit build up og sakit mas mapektuhan pod sila sa ilang growth. Okay, so that is her appeal nga ipagbawal ang pag kuan sa tabako or there are certain nga kuan niya nga policies paggamit sa tabako to create that healthy and free environment for learners and youth. Okay. Now, number two, let's analyze. Okay. Analyze the given text and select the major points presented supporting the appeal of the DepEd Secretary for strong and comprehensive tobacco policies. So, create a checklist of these points and determine your level of agreement with each statement. So, explain why you agree or disagree with your listed key ideas. So, we have here a template for you to use. Okay, so what you're going to do is first, okay, create a checklist and then try to determine whether you agree on the statements or why you disagree about on these statements, the listed key ideas, and try to explain. Okay, explain nga naman nag-agree ka or why do you say nga nag-disagree ka ani nga mga key ideas. Okay, so this is how it is. Okay, this is what it looks like. So on the first nga column, you're going to write there the main points, okay, the key ideas. Okay, it's listed there 1, 2, 3, and 4. So what you're going to do then is to They checked whether you strongly agree, you disagree, or you strongly disagree. Okay, kung agree, nag-on ka nga, oo. May kag disagree, na siya ang kato, mo, dili ka. Ano nga, key points. Okay, so upon the key points, you have to list down the key points first. And then afterwards, you try to check whether you agree ba, you strongly disagree, or you strongly disagree. After that, on the latter part, yun dia sa ubos, you try to explain. Okay, explain dayon nga naman. Nga agree ba nga na agree or ni disagree? Why you strongly agree or why you strongly disagree? Okay, you can pause this video for you to have more time in answering. Okay, so for this one, we are going to have a group activity. So count off 1 to 6. So you're going to do this activity in an A4 bond paper. If you don't have A4 bond paper, then you could actually have it in a one whole sheet of paper. Okay, let's count off 1 to 6. And then afterwards, you work on with your group mates. Okay, so first group will be assigned on the right, okay, as well as with second group and then third group, and then on the right left side will be for group 4, group 5, and then group 6. Okay, make sure to write your names on your bond paper at the back. Okay, write your names at the back, and I will give you 15 minutes to do this activity. And after that, you are going to present your output on the class.